Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel today for the third Alliance War of Season 26. So today we are facing Demon. So this is our first actual test of the season. These guys finished Masters last season. Definitely not the cleanest group in terms of their members, but need to try and get a win. So his first fight up is rank 2 Tiger on the Arc Overload Vigorous Assault node. So I've done this fight a few times before with Doom. It's very simple. Just have to stagger the Arc Overloads. Now, I am running 5 out of 5 Mystic Dispersion and also Mystic Power Boost. So here I do make a bit of a mistake. I delay my special 3. I was hoping that the regeneration would activate first, because I was worried I'd get pushed to a special 2. But yeah, she didn't special 2 in that time. We don't quite get to it, luckily. And now we're just going to finish her off. So, very simple fight. Finish on a full yellow bar. So now moving on to the second fight of the war. We have a Hit Monkey on Masochism. Again, this is a really basic fight. So we're going to be using Apocalypse. And Apocalypse here is basically immune to the Masochism node, because it does count as a Tenacity, Purify sort of ability that Apocalypse will shrug off. So there, definitely got a bit concerned when the Wi-Fi symbol appeared, but thankfully we don't have any connection errors this war. So, in this fight, I'm not going to bother punishing this special one, there just really isn't any need to. And I also do have the cable synergy, so start off with 4 charges. And I know that 1 special 2 will be enough to kill this Hit Monkey and his really small health pool. So yeah, it doesn't get much easier than that. So moving on to the third fight of the war here, this is a Corvus on the Strike Counter Fury node. Going to be using Dr. Doom here. So 2 best options for this fight are generally Doom or Quake. Now I generally prefer to use Doom for it, because if you manage the Furies, even if you do slip up and take a combo, you will be fine. So I'm going to be carefully managing the Furies. 5 out of 5 Mystic Dispersion is going to help quite a lot in terms of my own power. So going for the regular heavy combo and then generally a medium light medium. So here I was considering going up to a special 3 and doing a single Fury Doom cycle, but because Corvus' power was so low and because it did mean that he would gain 1 or 2 Furies, I decided to just play it slow and safe. Land a nice intercept there. I believe we're going to build up to another special 2. Throw that off. Got a Mystic Power Boost active, but I think really I did just completely waste that. As you can see, it's just not needed for this fight. It's really simple with Doom. Another special 1 and then another combo and he'll be down. So now we're moving on to the fourth fight of the war, and I was actually really worried about this matchup. So it's a rank 3 Nick Fury on Encroaching Stun, and we're going to be using Apocalypse. So Apocalypse, the thought process behind the matchup was his really long specials will help out quite a lot in terms of just managing the Encroaching Stun node. But as you're going to see, this fight is just absolute obliteration. So I did use a Power Start 1 boost because I was relatively worried for this matchup, and I'm really glad that I did overall. So I've already built up to a special 2, and now I'm basically waiting for the Encroaching Stun timer to run low before using it. So because the animation's so long, you can use it fairly early. Now I did have a 150 Mutant Power Boost on, and as you can see, the special 2 gives me another special 2. And that cycle is just going to continue on and on until this Nick Fury dies. So here this fight does get a little bit sketchy. He uses his special 1, but luckily we dex out and get the special 2 off before Encroaching Stun. And again, we're up to another special 2. I think this is 4 special 2s chained in a row. Now this special 2 here is nearly going to finish him, and it pushes me up to a special 3, and throw this, and this Nick Fury will be down. So I've got to say that's probably one of the most fun war fights I've had in quite some time, and definitely not a fight that I needed to be worried about. So now moving on to the 5th fight of the war, and it is against a Mysterio on Powerful from Afar and Spite, going to be using Doctor Doom. So I've got some Mr. Fantastic pre-fights on here, Petrifying Suppression, and that is going to help us control Mysterio's power a bit. So 5 out of 5 Mystic Dispersion with an Awakened Doom on Powerful from Afar. Every time the power gain buff is staggered or nullified, it's basically going to give me a whole bar of power. So going for the special 3 here. And as you're going to see, we're just going to be able to cycle specials really easily. So I made sure to not activate a Mystic Power Boost here in case I had the power gain buff when I used my special 3, and it would very easily get me up to my own special 2 when I wanted to throw special 1. Yeah, second special 3 here, and this is pretty much game over for Mysterio. Really simple fight for Doom. Pre-fights probably not needed, but they did help a nice bit. So going to go in for a special 2 here, this will finish him off. So next fight up is going to be an Elsa Bloodstone on Node 43. So we're going to be using Apocalypse here. So I could have used either champion quite well, Doom or Apocalypse. Doom obviously got the power control, but has to deal with Elsa's own abilities a bit more than Apocalypse would. And also Apocalypse can go immune to Incinerate if I do mess up and get inflicted with that. But yeah, plan for this fight is basically just bait special 1s, and with Apocalypse probably 1 special 2 into a special 1 with all 4 debuffs up will be enough to kill her off. So there is aspect of evolution on this node, so Elsa's crit resist, power gain, armor is going to be increasing throughout the fight, but it should be short enough that that does not become any major issue. So go for the special 2 here, does massive damage. Actually didn't get a single crit there. I think if we did get some good crit RNG it would have probably finished her off. Yeah, no, go for the special 1 and this is pretty much guaranteed to kill. So now moving on to probably the fight I was most worried about this war. So this is a Kingpin on Node 47. So I've got the guidance from White Magneto active here. And basically I just want to slow play this fight, spam special 1s over and over again. Power gain from Mystic Dispersion, power from Far is going to help out with that. We're also going to pretty much be immediately nullifying Kingpin's Fury whenever he does get it. So I can see already that time is not going to be an issue in this fight. He's going down a lot quicker than I was actually expecting from this rotation. So as you can see when he's backed up in the corner, Powerful Far actually isn't triggering while my special 1 beams are nullifying, so I'm not getting the power gain. So you are going to see a bit later in this fight, I do try to sort of back up a little bit. Sort of try to manage the spacing so that that power gain buff is always active for me to nullify. But yeah, this fight is going quite well. Can see at this point that it's very simple overall. There's no real risk associated with it. So yeah, it's just slow but safe. And generally I prefer that than fast, but a bit riskier more. So we do actually get pushed to a special 2 here, and we actually get really, really lucky, and he doesn't shrug off a single incinerate, and that's definitely going to speed up the end of this fight a bit. So yeah, Kingpin goes down. Really, really, really clean fight there. Definitely nothing to be worried about if you have the White Magneto pre-fight active. And definitely think Doom is a better option than Omega Red or Apocalypse for that matchup. So now we're moving on to Boss Island. First fight up is going to be a Cable on the Recovery and Vigorous Assault mini-boss. Going to be using Dr. Doom. Most important thing for this fight is to make sure he always has a stagger or I have a special 1 available when he crosses over a bar, so that he doesn't gain any sort of regeneration to be unblockable at all. Even though with Doom's tankiness it's not really that much of an issue if he does. So it's going down quite quickly here. We are also stealing his power gains, which is nice, speeding up the fight a bit. So here I did make a bit of a mistake. I should have pushed him over 1 bar and then used a special 1. He uses his own special 1 while unblockable, so I do take a couple of hits, but resist the end of it, and obviously just doesn't do much damage because Doom is Doom. But we definitely healed quite a lot of health from that regeneration. So Cable is nearly down now, going for some more special 2s, weave them in to speed things up a bit. Use special 1, steal the power, probably going to need 1 more special 2 to finish him off. Go for it here, and yeah, this will kill him. So now moving on to the second to last fight of the war. This is a Guardian on node 53. Going to be using Doom. So initially I was going to assign a Claire for this fight, but decided that Doom would probably be the safer option with how tanky he is, and also his shock immunity counting for pretty much all of Guardian's damage. So at the start I was thinking trying to slow my combos to get 2 shocks off a combo, but I realised that wasn't really going to be practically possible without risking getting parried in the middle of a combo. So the main thing here is I want to get to a special 2 while I have Aura active, so that it is unblockable, because Guardian can auto block specials. So as you can see, we're slowly getting close to the special 2 every time we use a special 1. Want to make sure that I'm nullifying the armor up with the special 1 to get the Mystic Dispersion power gain. And the special 1 also applies a 6-second shock, which gives us a good amount of power from Polka Dot Power Node. So here I opt to use the special 1 when he doesn't have the armor, because I didn't want to get pushed to special 2 without Aura. But we do actually get lucky, and the Aura nullifies the power gain, the armor up itself. So there I wanted to push him to special 2 and power steal that, but wasn't really possible. But now we do manage to do it, then we nullify the armor up, get off the special 2, and At this point the fight is over. Got the Mystic Power boost, got the stun reflection down, land a really nice combo there, does a lot of damage with stun vulnerability. And now we're back up to another special 2 and this will kill him. So again, long fight, but a safe fight. So now moving on to the final fight of the war. This is a thing on the Brute Force and Limber mini-boss. So again, we've got the guidance on this fight. Going to be using Apocalypse. So it's a pretty standard Apocalypse versus Thing fight. Want to build up my debuffs, lock them in, and make sure to control his rock stacks in the meantime. So there's generally 2 ways this fight will start. You'll either land 2 combos, he'll use his special 1, and then you want to land a couple of heavy attacks to make sure he gets to another special 1 before he reaches 15 rock stacks. Or he'll do what he did, he'd not use a special 1, he'd just land 3-5 combos. So him try and bait out special 2, he doesn't want to use it, and we do take a few thousand damage from Brute Force, which is quite annoying, but it's not really a big deal. So now we've reached the special 2, we've got the concussion, we've got all 4 debuffs. Now I need to build up to a special 3 and get the lock in. So I'm using this light attack for spacing so I can heavy counter his special 1s. So there I actually do mess up the timing a bit. Take some brute force damage, but thankfully Thing doesn't actually hit into us. So as you can see there, I didn't opt for the heavy counters, being a bit more cautious. Now I'm mostly doing parry heavy up to my special 3 just to control his rock stacks really well. Apocalypse's heavy attack inflicts a bleed which removes 3 rock stacks. It's 2 hits which would normally give him 2, but the concussion is currently reducing the chance of him gaining rock stacks by 35%. Another parry heavy there, mainly to remove brute force. For off the special 3, this is going to double the potency of the debuffs and also make them permanent, so I don't need to worry about keeping them up. And at this point the fight is pretty much completely over. Thing's attack is halved, he's got 70% concussion active and he's taking a very significant amount of damage every tick. So again, keep up the heavy attacks to keep the rock stacks down, but we don't need to throw as many in when the concussion accounts for 70% rather than 35%. Heavy counters a special 1. And yeah, fight's over. So we did end up losing this war, but BG2 actually did go deathless, so well done to Battle Group 2. Thanks for watching now, and I'll see you in the next